6. Today we're to our first investigation. We usually do investigations after every 10 lessons. Investigations are going to be a little bit different. So you have this packet in your folder or your file thing. This is what we're going to take on today. In a second I'm going to switch to the iPad and work your way through this, talking through this. So you really don't need a math book today. The questions that were in your math book come right out on this, and this is where we do our work on these investigations. You'll notice there's no power up on an investigation, so that's why that's lacking in there. You do need your yellow folder. I think there's a blank or two to fill in your yellow folder, and I'll work those through with you as we get going. So in a second I'm going to start the iPad and I'll do the problems with you right on, work our way through this on the iPad. I'm also going to lay out the test directions for tomorrow. I'll post these again tomorrow, but I thought while I have your attention for an investigation video, you can see it. So there's always two parts to your math test, the power up part and then the normal test. So I'm going to start with the power up. It's the multiplication you're used to, and then there's a challenge problem here. The challenge problem says this: kids on a field trip to a dairy farm are gathered in a barn with cows. If there are 11 heads and 28 legs in the barn, how many kids and how many cows are in the barn? Okay, so I'll give you a helpful hint. If we're counting heads, every kid and every cow has one head. If you're counting legs, kids have 2 legs, cows have 4 legs. And so what you got to do is you got to kind of work out a pattern that would look like this. And here's how I'm going to start it, and then you're going to go from there and figure out the answer. If I say there are 10 kids and 1 cow, and I pick 10 and 1 because 10 and 1 add up to the 11 heads that are in the building. Now I turn around and I say 10 times 2, because every kid has 2 legs, gives me 20. 1 times 4, because every cow has 4 legs, gives me 4 legs. That's 24 legs. That's not the correct answer. It says there's supposed to be 28 legs. So my 10 kids and 1 cow is wrong. I'm going to work a pattern out. I'm going to go down to 9 kids and up to 2 cows. Then the math: 9 times 2 is 18, 2 times 4 is 8, and I get 26 legs. Still not right. But in my mind, you keep this pattern going until you find the number of kids and the number of cows. So when I add their heads together, it equals 11. When I multiply the legs and add together, it equals 28. Okay, now the back side of this thing has 3 questions, guys. That's extra credit. If you want extra credit on your math test, you do these 3 problems. They're slightly challenging, but work through those things. Write your answers down, circle answers. You got a chance for extra credit. Your math test is always 20 questions, front and back. You can do your work right on here and write your answers right on here. If you don't have enough room to do the work, feel free to pull out a scratch piece of paper and do your work on a scratch piece of paper. I love to be able to see the work, guys. So if you do work on a scratch piece of paper, staple that together or throw it in there so that I can see the work that you're doing. I don't want to see just answers, guys. I want to see your brain going. So some of these problems, like on the back side, it's just a division problem. And if you wrote your answer up there with no work, it tells me you used a calculator. I'm not interested in if a calculator can do math. I'm interested if you can do math. So make sure you show your work. Okay? If you have any questions, feel free to chat with me or text me or something like that with your test, or I'll check in with your Zoom call. That's for Friday, obviously, your test. And I'll see you for your word problems on your iPad for your investigation. So for your on your desk right now, yellow folder, and this packet that says Investigation 1. All right, 6th grade, hopefully you have Investigation 1 packet sitting on your desk. I'm just going to work through it right in order. You got your name on it. It says after each question, put the fraction manipulatives back in order. I didn't give you the fraction manipulatives, so don't stress about that. Also, don't worry about this thing. It says the hints in this investigation refer to the colors of the fraction tower manipulatives. If you are using the pie-shaped fraction manipulatives, complete the investigation using student addition. We're skipping all that, guys. Okay, hopefully you also have your yellow folder open. Your yellow folder for the investigation has a quick review. It says, hey, reduce fractions when you can. That's what we're learning today. We're learning how to reduce fractions. If we remember from yesterday, the word of means multiply. So if you want to fill in your yellow folder with me, of means multiply, and percent, remember percent means out of 100. So write the number 100 there. The other thing from your yellow folder says we have to have common denominators to add or subtract. So we've been adding and subtracting fractions so far, but they've always had common denominators. Today we're going to work with some that are not common. And last, it says to subtract from a whole, switch 1 to a fraction with the numerator and the denominator being the same as a fraction you're working with. And I'll work through that, but that is saying if I'm doing 1 minus 1/4, I switch the 1 to 4/4 because I'm already working with 4s. Okay, your packet says this. Number 1, what fraction is half of a half? Then they give you hints if you had those little colored manipulatives that we do not have. So guys, I'm going to look at number 1 and I'm going to say, what fraction, that would be like the letter N, I don't know, is means equal. What is half of means multiply. What is half of a half? Okay, guys, that just means multiply. So half times half equals, multiply the tops, multiply the bottoms, 1/4. So my answer for number 1 is 1/4. Number 2 says, what fraction is 1/2 of 1/3? So I write the problem, half times 1/3. Multiply the tops, 1, multiply the bottoms, 6. So I'm learning how to multiply a little bit faster than if I was doing anything else. Number 3 says, what fraction is 1/2 of 1/6? Multiply the tops, 1, multiply the bottoms, 12. Number 4. It says a quart is 1/4 of a gallon. Dan drank half a quart. Dan drank 1/2 of 1/4 of a gallon. What is 1/2 of 1/4 of a gallon? Multiply the tops, multiply the bottoms. Okay, number 4 has that little shaded box at the end, guys. That's where they want to label. So it says Dan drank a half gallon. What fraction of a gallon? He drank 1/8 of a gallon. And in your little shaded box, which will be really hard, you're supposed to put a label there. So that's what that little box means. Number 5, Luz exercised for half an hour. Luz jogged for 1/3 of her exercise time. She jogged for 1/2 of an hour and did 1/3 of that time. Half times a third is 1/6 of an hour. Number 6, 4 friends equally divided a whole pizza for lunch. Binley ate 1/3 of his share and took the rest of his share home. What fraction of the whole pizza? 4 friends, so they each got 1/4 of a pizza. And Binley ate 1/3 of that pizza. So I do 1/4 times 1/3 equals 1/12. 1/12 of the pizza. Number 7, how many 12ths equal 1/2? Okay, guys, here's the new one. So it looks like this. How many 12ths, I don't know how many 12ths, equal 1/2? What I ask myself is, how did I get from 2 to 12? I multiplied by 6. If I multiply by 6 on the bottom, I have to multiply by 6 on the top so they stay the same. 1 times 6 equals 6. So the question is, how many 12ths equal 1/2? 6 12ths. If you would reduce 6 12ths, you would get 1/2. Find a single fraction piece that equals 3 12ths. So now we're going backwards. How can I reduce 3 12ths? I ask myself, what number goes into both 3 and 12? And the answer is 3. So I divide by 3 on the top, that equals 1. I divide by 3 on the bottom, that equals 4. 3 12ths equals 1/4. That's number 8. Number 9, same thing. What single fraction piece is equal to 4/8? So instead of having 4 1/8 pieces, how can I reduce that? So here comes number 9. I have 4/8. And I'm trying to get it to equal to 1 something. How did I get there? I divided by 4. 4 divided by 4 equals 1. If I do it on the top, I have to do it on the bottom. 8 divided by 4 equals 2. So 4/8 reduces to 1/2. So they're teaching you reducing, guys, without using the word reducing yet. And then they'll give you a lesson on reducing to be able to do that. Number 10, find a single fraction piece that equals 4 12ths. So this time I'm at 4 12ths. I want to equal a single piece up here, so I got to get down to 1. How do I get down to 1? I obviously have to divide by 4. If I do it on the top, I have to do it on the bottom. 4 divided by 4 is 1. 12 divided by 4 is 3. And so my answer is 1/3. Benito is running a 6-mile race. So each mile is 1/6 of the race. Benito has run 2/3 of the race. How many miles has he run? So Benito has done 2/3 of the race, which is a total of 6 miles. How did I get from 3 to 6? I multiplied by 2. If I do it on the bottom, I do it on the top. 2 times 2 is 4. Now the question is, how many miles has he run? The answer is 4, and then your label is miles. Number 12. 1 egg is 1/12 of a dozen. How many eggs are 3/4 of a dozen? Goes like that. I could multiply the tops and get 36, multiply the bottoms and get 4, and then I divide. 4 goes into 36 9 times 9 eggs. Your other choice that we've been doing in math class says divide by my denominator, multiply by my numerator. If that one makes more sense to you, go for it. If you like the word of means multiply, then that's how we do it. Some kids say, you use the word of, Mr. Bauer, and yet you divide it. So whatever is easiest for you to did it. All right, you got your packet. You should be done with the front page. We open it up. We move on to the next page. Number 13 says, get 2 sets of fraction manipulatives. Take 5 orange pieces. Make a tower and trace the sheet. Be sure that you see where the cube stops. Now trace 1 red and an orange. Now write the mix. Okay, guys, it's a big, long thing to say. Can you switch 5/3 to a mixed number? We learned that 2 lessons ago, guys. Top in, bottom out. 3 goes into 5 once. Gives me 3. Subtract. My answer is 1 2/3. And all you have to do is 5/3 equals 1 2/3. I do not know why they gave you all that space. Number 14, find a single fraction piece that equals 3/6. 3/6 divided by, I don't know, gives me 1 something. Well, 3 divided by 3 gives me 1. 6 divided by 3 gives me 2. So number 14 equals 1/2. 15. Get 2 sets of fraction manipulatives. Take 9 light blues, fit 5 together to make 5, 6, and fit 4 together to make 4, 6. Now show the addition of 5, 6 plus 4, 6 by combining them together. Trace your tower and get it. So they already did the math for you. 5, 6 plus 4, 6 equals 9, 6. They said, what does 9, 6 equal? Well, that's top in, bottom out, isn't it? So 9 in the box, 6 outside the box. That gives me 1. That gives me a 6. That gives me 3. That gives me 1 3, 6. But I go back to number 14 that we just did that says 3, 6 reduces to 1/2. And so I put that together for number 15, and I get an answer of 1 1/2. Top in, bottom out, and then reducing to 1/2. Number 16, 2 1/4 pieces form 1/2. Which 2 other manipulative pieces also form 1/2? This is a tough one. So I have 1/3 plus I don't know equals 1/2. What I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to find common denominators, guys. So I look at my denominator of 3 and 2 and say, what number does both 3 and 2 go into? They both go into 6. Now I have to switch those. How did I get from 3 to 6? I times it by 2 over 2. So 3 times 2 is 6. 1 times 2 is 2. 1/3 is actually 2 6. Now I'm doing this one. How did I get from 1/2 to 6? Well, that's times 3 over 3. And so this is 3 6. So 2 6 plus I don't know equals 3 6. Missing an addition, I subtract. 3 6 minus 2 6 equals 1 6. So for number 16, the blank that you have there, they gave you this problem, you write 1 6. So that line they gave you guys is your division bar. They gave you this. You write 1 above it, 6 below it. My answer is 1 6 for number 16. Okay, 6th grade. Now, if you just flipped your packet over, you say, Mr. Bauer, now it says number 29. So your teacher put the papers in the copier upside down. So you have to go all the way to the back page now. And then we'll have to work backwards in. So I stapled them together wrong. I apologize for that. Make sure you're on number 17. Number 17 says this: 1/2 plus 1/3 plus I don't know, that's the letter A, equals 1. Okay, that's going to build on what we did with number 16. Remember, we switched those to 6. We said 1/2 was 3/6. We said 1/3 was 2/6. We're going to add to that an I don't know, which is the letter A, and that equals a whole, which equals 6/6. That's what your helpful hint in your yellow folder says. We're working with 6 here, so I make this one equal to itself. Add the tops. 3 plus 2 is 5/6. Subtract from the 6/6, because I'm missing an addition, equals 1/6. So 17, it says at the bottom, at the edge there, A equals what? I write the answer 1/6. Number 18, I have 1/6 plus the letter B equals 1/4. I'm going to switch these and say what number does both 4 and 6 go into? The answer is 12. So 6 times what gave me 12? The answer is 2. So I'm going to multiply this guy by 2 over 2. That switches that to 2. How'd I get from 3 to 12? That's times 3 over 3. So 3 times 4 gave me 12. 1 times 3 gave me 3. So I have 2/12 plus B equals 3/12. Missing an addition, solve it through subtraction. 3/12 minus 2/12 is 1/12. B equals 1/12 for number 18. Number 19, 1/2 plus the letter C equals 3/4. I'm going to find common denominators. The common denominator is 4. So I go, how do I get from 2 to 4? I multiplied by 2. 1 times 2 is 2. 2 times 2 is 4. Plus C equals, this is already in force. My new problem is 2/4 plus C equals 3/4. Missing an addition, subtract. 3/4 minus 2/4 equals 1/4. C equals 1/4. Number 20. 1/4 plus D equals 1/3. I'm trying to think, what number does 4 and 3 both go into? The answer is 12. I ask myself, how did I get to 12? Well, I took 4 times 3 to get to 12. Do it to the denominator, do it to the numerator. 1 times 3 is 3. I'm adding D to it. It equals, how did I get from 3 to 12? I multiplied by 4. 3 times 4 is 12. Do it on the bottom, do it on the top. 1 times 4 is 4. My new problem is 3/12 plus D equals 4/12. Missing an addition, subtract, and get 1/12. D equals 1/12. All right. Now we're switching to percents. 21 says, what percent equals 2/3? Remember, in your notes, you wrote percent equals 100. So what is 2/3 of 100? Well, I divide by 3 and I get 3. That's a 9. Subtract 1, bring down 0. 3, 9, subtract. Remember, we just had this. So I have 33 and 1/3. Now I need to take that times 2. So you got 2 choices. The easier one might be 33 and 1/3 plus 33 and 1/3, and just add them together. 1 plus 1 is 2. 3 stay the same. 3 and 3, 3 and 3. My answer is 66 and 2/3. Number 22. I have 3/12. And it says, what percent equals 3/12? 3/12. The first thing I'm going to do, guys, is I'm going to reduce this fraction. I say, hey, 3 goes into 3 and 3 goes into 12. So I'm going to divide both numbers by 3. That gives me 3 divided by 3 is 1, and 12 divided by 3 is 4. That's 1/4. We've been doing those problems backwards, multiplying up 12. Now that I have 1/4, guys, it's a lot easier division. 4 goes into 100, what percent? 4 goes into 10 twice. 8, subtract 2, bring down the 0. 4 goes into 25 times. 25 times my numerator times 1 stays 25. So my answer is 25%. 23, what percent is 3/8? 3/8 percent means out of 100. Here I go. Divide by my denominator. 8 into 10 once. 8, subtract 2, bring down. 8 into 20, 2, multiplied, 16, subtract 4. And I got an answer of 12 and 4/8. I like to reduce this thing. It's easier to work with. Number just goes into both 4 and 8. 4 does. So I divide both by 4. 4 divided by 4 is 1. 8 divided by 4 is 2. So I have 12 and 1/2. Now I need to take my answer times 3 of those. I like to say I have 3 12 and 1/2. I add 1 plus 1 plus 1 is 3/2. We learned 2 lessons ago you can't have that. Top in is 3 in, bottom out, goes in there 1, and I have 1 left over, so I have 1 and 1/2. I take my 1, I add it to my whole numbers. 1 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 is 7. 1 plus 1 plus 1 is 3. Don't forget your half. I have 37 and 1/2%. Okay. You'll see a lot of those guys if you look in your yellow folder at the back, or there's a little chart in there that has those things to you. And also I would encourage you to just start to memorize some of these percentages. They'll be a lot easier. 24. It says what percent equals 3/6? Well, hopefully you can see 3/6 divided by 3 over 3 equals 1/2. What is 1/2 as a percent? Hopefully you have that one memorized. I'll just show you the math. Divide by 2 goes in there 5, goes in there 0. 1/2 is 50%. So for A, what percent is 50? And then that goes in, this goes in your shaded box right here, the percent sign. Name 2 other fractions that have the same percent as 3/6. So I had 1/2. I multiply by 2, I have 2/4. That would work. Multiply by 3 gives me 3/6. That's already listed there. So I multiplied by 4, gave me 4/8. So 2 other fractions for letter B that equal 1/2, 2/4, 4/8. You could have put anything you want. Okay, number 25 says take 1 yellow, 1 black fraction, put them together. Put them next to 1 orange percent piece. What percent equals 1/4 plus 1/12? All right, let's try it. I'm going to do 1/4 plus 1/12. And I wrote multiply, sorry, plus. I have to have common denominators, guys. So I say, how do I get to this 12? Well, I have to take this times 3. So 1 times 3 is 3, 4 times 3 is 12. So I have 3/12 plus 1/12 equals 4/12. I'm going to reduce this now. I'm going to divide both of those by 4. 4 divided by 4 is 1. 4 divided by into 12 is 3. And now I have to switch that to percent. We just did it a couple screens ago. 3 goes into 100 3 times. That's 9. Subtract 10. 3, that's 9. Subtract 1. 33 and 1/3. Hopefully it's memorized, guys, to be able to do that. That was number 25. 26 says take 1 and minus 1/4. This is your yellow folder. I'm working with fourths. What does 1 equal? 1 equals 4/4. 4/4 minus 1/4 equals 3/4. So you write 3/4 on the line. B says 2 of what fractions equal 4/6? Well, if I have 4/6 and I would split that apart, I would have equals 2/6 plus 2/6, wouldn't it? Okay, so they're saying they're the same thing. But what does 2/6 equal? 2/6 has to reduce by dividing by 2. That's 1/3 plus 1/3. So the question for 27 was, what are the colors? You wanted 2 of what fraction? 2 of 1/3. So on the line, you're just writing this because they're the same thing. It's 1/3. 28, 3 of what fraction equals 6/8? So I have 6/8, I'm dividing it by 3. That's 2/8 plus 2/8 plus 2/8 equals 6/8. But they want this to say, hey, what does that reduce to, guys? So I divide by 2 over 2. 2 over 2 equals 1/4. So 1/4 plus 1/4 plus 1/4 would equal 3/4. What does 6/8 reduce to? 3/4. So what's my answer for 28? This guy right here. I need 3/1/4 to get there. Okay, now you gotta turn your page back into the middle here, guys, because your teacher doesn't know how to staple things. I apologize, and we need to finish this thing up. 29 says, take 4 black pieces, put 1 orange, how many 12ths are left? So then they have it down here, guys. The math problem is, what is 1/3 minus 1/12? Common denominator, say, get this guy equal to 12. How do you do that? By 4. So multiply by 4. 1 times 4 is 4. 3 times 4 is 12. I now have 4/12 minus 1/12. What does 4/12 minus 1/12 equal? It equals 3/12. Okay? Now you can write that down, 3/12. Or you can say, what does 3/12 equal? I need to reduce by dividing by the same number. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 12 divided by 3 is 4. Sorry, that got bad. That should be a 3. 1/4. So I have 2 blanks for 29, guys. They're the exact same answer. 29 equals 1/4, and the next line it equals 1/4. All right. Now I try to write the fractions in there for you guys. So yellows are fourths, and they want to know 1/2 equals how many fourths? Well, how did I get from 2 to 4? I multiplied by 2. So that, boom. So yellows, you would write down, for yellows, 1/2 equals this answer, 2/4. Now you're going across to light blues. 1/2 equals how many 6? Well, how did I get from 2 to 6? Times 3. Do it on the bottom, do it on the top. That's 3/6. So light blues, 1/2 equals 3/6. Dark blues, 1/2 equals how many 8ths? Times 4 over 4 equals 4/8 for dark blues. And blacks, 1/2 equals how many 12ths? How did I get from 2 to 12? Times 6. So 1 times 6 equals 6. And so 1/2 equals 6/12. All right. Continuing on, it says 1 orange, which equals 1/3, plus a light blue equals 1/2. So 1/2 equals, what was my orange? 1/3. What was my light blue? My light blue is 1/6. So as I'm filling in the blank, guys, they gave you 1/2, and they said stick in an orange, which is 1/3. Sorry about that. I should figure out how to erase. There we go. Back to writing. 1/3 plus 1/6. To show you that, guys, you would need common denominator. So I'm just going to show you on this one. This stays the same as 1/6. This would be times 2 over 2 would give me 2/6. This would be times 3 over 3. That would give me 3/6. And you would see that 3/6 equals 2 plus 1 up there. Okay? Now, 1 orange plus some blacks equal it. So now I have to do math, guys. So I have my math problem. It says 1/2 equals an orange, which is 1/3, plus some blacks, and we don't know how many, guys. So plus, I don't know, I'm gonna put the letter N in there, but I know blacks are worth 1/12. Okay, so I have to find common denominators. That's 12. So how did I get from 2 to 12? I took it by 6 over 6. So 6/12 equals, how did I get this to 12? 4 over 4. That gives me 4/12 equals, add to, I don't know, how many 12s. Missing an addition, I subtract. 6 minus 2 is 2. So your problem says 1 orange and some blacks. I would rewrite that now. 1/2 equals what? 1/3 plus my answer, 2 12s. Next one, I have 2 blacks, which would be 2 12s, plus some light blues. Light blues, remember, are 6, so I don't know how many 6 equals 1/2. So once again, this is 2 12s plus, I got to switch this to 12s, equals, multiply by 6s here, equals 6 12s. How do I subtract this? I subtract this to 6 minus 2 equals 4. But guys, that's not the question, because the question was how many 6s are those? So I need to reduce this thing down to 6. So 4 12s equals how many 6? How did I get from 12 to 6? I divided by 2. 4 divided by 2 is 2. So now back to your problem. 2 blacks plus some light blues looks like this. 1/2 equals 2 12s plus 2 6. So my answer looks like that. I have 1 light blue, that's 1 6, plus some blacks again, which is some number of 12s, equals 1/2. Make them all equal to 12. This is 2 12s, plus I don't know how many 12s, equals 6 12s. Okay, now guys, I skipped some problems here because we just did those on the last slide, but I'll draw that for you. 2 12s. This was times 6 to get there. Now I subtract and I have 4 12s. So to answer the problem, 1/2 equals 1 6 plus 4 12s. And I just write that because I don't need to reduce this one because we're working with 12s. Okay, next one. 1 yellow plus some dark blues. So 1 yellow, and I look at the top, a yellow is 1/4, plus some dark blues. I don't know how many, but I know dark blues are worth 8, and that equals 1/2. Switch them all to 8ths. So I have to multiply this guy by 2 over 2, because on the bottom, 4 times 2 gave me the 8, 1 times 2 gives me the 2, plus I don't know how many 8ths equal, switch this to 8ths, how do I get there? 2 times 4 gives me 8, multiply on the bottom, multiply on the top, that's my 4/8. Solve through subtraction, 4 minus 2 is 2/8. So to solve your problem, you have 1/2 equals 1/4 plus 2/8. Couple more and we're almost done. 3 blacks, that's 3 12s, plus some, I don't know how many, dark blues is 8, equals my 1/2. Now this one is a sweet challenge, guys, because I have to try to find common denominators with this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to switch these things all up to 24s. So if this is a 24 and this is a 24 and this is a 24, I got to figure out my math on how I got there. 12 times 2 gave me 24, so 3 times 2 is 6. 8 times 3 gave me 24, so I have to take my number that I'm still working on and I'm going to take it times 3 when I'm done. 2 times 12 gave me 24, so 1 times 12 gives me 12. Now I subtract. I do 12 minus 6 and get 6 24s. But remember, I took that number times 3, so I do the opposite now to go backwards down to 8ths. So 6 24s equals how many 8ths? How did I get from 24 to 8? I divided by 3. Divide by 3 on the top gives me a 2. So now your problem to solve it said 1/2 equaled what? It equaled the 3 12ths plus the 2/8. Your answer for that one. I have 1 yellow, which is 1/4, plus some number of blacks, which is 12ths, equals 1/2. This one is equal to 12s, so I multiply by 3 over 3 gives me 3 12ths, plus n 12ths equals multiply by 6 over 6, 6 12ths. Subtract 6 minus 3, and I get 3 12ths. Written out, 1/2 equals 1/4 plus 3 12ths. You're done with number 30. Now comes 31. It says use fraction pieces to arrange these things in order from least to greatest. Guys, you take the biggest denominator when they're all ones. So 1/6 is the least. Then the next one would be 1/4, then 1/3, and finally 1/2. Use fraction pieces to arrange these in order. So I have 2/3, I have 3/6, and I have 3/8. This one I don't need help with because this is a half. This is less than a half, this is more than a half. So it would go 3/8 because it's less than a half to 3/6, more than a half, to 2/3. To 3/6, which was a half, to 2/3. 32. Number 33 says put 2 yellows next to 1 pink so that 1/4 plus 1/4 equals a half. Now put 2 yellow decimal pieces next to 1/4. Write the decimal addition problem to answer these questions. Okay, guys, we don't have decimals, so we got to figure out what is 1/4 as a decimal. Well, I'm taking one whole and I'm dividing it by 4. Well, I need to add a decimal point and add a 0. I add a decimal point. 4 goes into 1, 0 times. 4 goes into 10, 2 times. That's 8. Subtract 2. Add another 0. Bring it down. 4 goes into 25 times. Hopefully you know that. What is 1/4 as a decimal? It's 0.25. So now for 33, my blanks look like this. 0.25 plus 0.25. What's 25 plus 25? It's 50. So it equals 0.50. If you want, you could cross that out. 0.25 plus 0.25 equals 0.5. Said correctly, 25 hundredths plus 25 hundredths equals 5/10. Last one is 34. We just figured out what 1/2 equals, guys. 1/2 equals 0.5. That was from number 33. So this time I have 0.5 plus 0.5. And what's 5 plus 5? That's 10. But if I was writing that the correct way, remember I line up my decimals so the 10 looks like this. It's not 10, it's 1.0. And we don't ever write it like that. We just say it's 1. So 34, my blanks, 0.5 plus 0.5 equals 1. All right, hopefully you got that packet done. That was a lot of math. It was getting us set for the future lessons when we will be reducing fractions and finding common denominators.